Good afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Labor Day. Thank you. The topic for today, I am going to talk about why your suppliers are important for a green event. And you have guessed correctly. I have not sat down and scripted what I wanted to say, so it's quite impromptu, and I often intentionally do that so that I can be challenging myself to do a podcast without much of sitting down and planning what I want to say and how I want to say it. Well, suppliers are important to all, to any business operations. Suppliers are the ones who enable your business to have continuity, right? When you organize and run events, you will have suppliers ranging from the one who caters your food to the one who supplies you with the AV, your IT, your audio visual, to the ones supplying you with your gifts and your materials, many things. People who plan and run events will know what I'm talking about. So many suppliers, so many different groups of suppliers. And in this day and age, we are expecting our suppliers to have green labels. We are expecting them to comply with sustainable practices, just like we do, so that it makes our job as organizers of events a little easier. We are expecting our suppliers to be having green labels, labels on their products, on their items. We expect them to be able to perform or to do things in their business of supplying us with things, to be able to do so in a not just a cost-friendly way, but in an eco-friendly way, in a sustainable manner. So our suppliers matter. They are important. They are the reason why we will be able to manage our waste, food waste and non-food waste during the event. Our suppliers will be the ones who will be helping us reduce our carbon footprint. Our suppliers will be the ones whom we count on when we talk about reducing our carbon footprint, because our suppliers in food, in transport, in materials, they are the ones who will be telling us that their food are not all imported from faraway countries. Our suppliers are the ones who will be able to tell us that the materials that they use come from forests or come from places where there are the efforts in reforestation, replanting. They are the ones who tell us that the materials that they use to supply us in the things that we buy from them are made from recycled materials. They are the ones who would maybe sometimes tell us that the things that they supply us are upcycled. So our suppliers are important. They are the ones who help us tick the boxes, because we may have to comply and adhere with sustainable practices. Our suppliers are the ones who tell us that their equipment and materials that they use are certified eco-friendly. And so that will often these days help us to show to the attendees, who themselves may have to answer to the companies who send them to attend the conferences and the meetings and the webinars and the seminars we host. So suppliers are important. We may have to work hand in hand with those who are not having a lot of sustainable practices. Some of the suppliers are those we have been using for 10, 15, 20 years or more, and unfortunately they do not quite have a lot of sustainability practices yet, so they may need our help. and we do not always want to discard the suppliers that we have been using for a long time and look for new ones, because the relationship is already built. So we work with them to increase their sustainable practices. We work with them to enable and to ensure that they are doing more in terms of being eco-friendly, being sustainable. We work with suppliers who contribute to not just environmental impacts, but social and cultural ones as well, because sustainability, remember, is not just about the environment. We work with suppliers sometimes when they need a bit of help in certification. Some of our suppliers may be on the journey of certification, and we want to be able to assist them in the certification journey. We work with suppliers because we realize that when our suppliers are able to up their game and become more sustainable and have more sustainable practices, we benefit as well. Yep. And we can forge a long-term relationship with our suppliers when we're able to lend them a helping hand in terms of technical expertise, when we help them to become or to take up more sustainable practices. So suppliers are critical. They are important in our quest or journey to host more responsible or green events. They are the ones who would be able to give us advice that will help us reduce wastages, cut costs, reduce unnecessary wasted time. And I thank you for listening to this podcast. I'll be doing at least another one or two more, or maybe a few more, on the specific topic of green events. Till then, have a lovely Labor Day. See you.